Hello, Furizans. Welcome to FCast Everything is Football. Wish you all a very, very happy new year. This is our very first episode in this new year. Yeah, we know the times are very challenging. It's not the perfect time, but the love for the game never finishes for us. So we are back once again. And as you all know, we are coming back after a long time because we wanted to start the break with a very, very special episode, with a episode that really matters. On that ground, today, let me introduce myself. As always, I'm Mayuk, and with me I have got Debayan with me as co-host. And today we have a very, very special guest. He is Krishnendu Biswas. We call him Krish. So just to give you a proper introduction of this man, he is it. This won't be a short introduction. So first of all, he is a sports management student who passed out a few years back, and then he decided to take sports as a profession, not only working as a sports manager or something like that, but I will say this guy eventually opened his football academy and contributes a lot to the grassroots level monitoring and nurturing fresh talents of the beautiful game in this very country. So, Krishnendu, warm welcome to you in this podcast. We are very happy to have you on board. So, a quick words from you before we move ahead.
Well, thank you, Moyuk. Thank you, Debayon. And thank you, Orko, for, I guess Orko is also there with us. Thank you for this lovely welcome. We have been talking for a couple of days regarding this, and I have been looking forward to this show. I mean, it's a great opportunity for not just for me, but for the whole concept that you spoke about just a while back. So the entire thing about football, the very first love, I would say. I mean, when I go and talk to people about football, there's one thing I tell them: why is football the most natural thing in a human? Ask any mother. Even when we stay in a womb, we kick. So
Wow.
football comes very natural to us. So the very first thing that comes natural to us is football, and that is how we start sports. I mean, you give a toy to a person who is like, say, 3 months, 4 months, that kid is going to be excited about toys. I mean, sports come so naturally
Yeah.
to us. And then we live in a country where we are told to not take up sports. I mean, we have all gone through that phase like, what's the point of doing that? You just have to study till this and become that and whatnot. I mean, something that comes naturally to us should be there with us throughout our life. That is what passion should be, the definition of passion. So that is how the whole journey started. And I want to share everything with you guys and everyone who's part of this show, who's listening to this show. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to this show today.
Yeah. So, a warm welcome to you, as I said. And also, let's get straight to the point. So, a football academy, which is called as the School of Football Excellence, which
Right.
you are a part of and you are the founder of that. So just run us through your journey. It has been quite an incredible journey. I feel.
So yeah, so basically, uh, I last started my footballing journey. I mean, the first memory was back in 1998, Brazil losing the final. My house color was yellow. So all the football enthusiasm came from international football. So it was Brazil. Then slowly, when uh, we had cable in our house, I mean, initial days it was just DD1 and Metro channels and all. But when cable came into our house, it was Liverpool who caught my eyes, Steven Gerrard, and all those fanatism was part of our life. But as I slowly started getting into the sports zone, I mean, playing football, mate mate ঘুরে ঘুরে খেলা দেখা, so everything was becoming a part of life. And so I really understood that a lot of fanatism is about international football. There's like Brazil, Argentina, Germany, Manchester United, Liverpool, but Indian football, I mean, that is where we see a lot of players around us. I mean, we go, there's like tournaments happening every other weekend in Calcutta. There's Goa football, Northeast football. But are we really doing something about it? Are we really uh, hitting the right spot? So that is, so I, being a sports management professional, I've been working in the sports field for almost 7 years. And in these 7 years, I've understood that something was dearly missing. The most important part is like, when you go to school for 12 years, then you get to understand what you're going to pursue in your life. whether you want to be an engineer or a doctor, or you want to be a lecturer, whatever. But you have to first go to school for 12 years. So in this country, there is no school for sports. So that is where we lacked. We are talking about Sunil Chetri's, Baichung Bhutia's, all the big names. But if you go and ask these players, have you ever learned football? They will always say no. They have played football for their school, for their para, for with friends, and through school tournaments, they have been scouted via, say, a Tata Football Academy through Shubroto Cup and all those school tournaments. But basically, tournament is exam. So whatever you learn, you go and give your exam. You get good marks, average marks, whatever. That's your introspection of how much you have learned. But if you haven't gone to school, if you haven't done a syllabus, a curriculum throughout your life, it's basically it's an example of you sit back home, you read stories of Edith Blyton, Rabindranath Tagore, and then you think you're going to be a professor when you are coming of age. So that doesn't happen. So you have to go through 12 years of school, different chapters, different books, different subjects, everything. Then you understand what you're good at. Then you're in that process, your teacher tells you, okay, you're not good at this, you're brilliant at that. So it's a whole education that comes out. So we are missing the grassroots, the fundamentals of sports is basically learning football, learning any other sport. So if I ask you, Moyuk, we know Neeraj Chopra, the gold medalist. So can you name the second best javelin thrower in India? You probably won't be able to. Even I can't won't be able to. There's a lot of people who won't be able to.
Yeah.
So the sports hasn't developed. So what happened with Neeraj Chopra? They invested a lot on a sportsman. They took him outside India, invested a lot, made him the greatest javelin thrower in current times. He has won a gold medal, and then after that, nobody knows about anything of javelin.
True.
So the sports development it has been missing. So in my all these years of being in sports industry, what I realize, it's like we can talk a lot, we can spend a lot of time in talking about the Ronaldos and the Messis of the world, but we are not creating even a Baichung Bhutia. So that is where I, in 2014, out of rage, out of anger, you can call it, but obviously out of a lot of passion, I went to a village in Shonarpur. So it's like 25 kilometers from south of Calcutta. So that's a place called Dihi Gongachur. It's a village area mostly. So I went there and I saw how everybody over there is football. It's like synonymous. They wake up in the morning, they just move around, play football throughout the day. They are not as privileged as we are. We get to go to a school, we get to think about a career. So when I visited there back in 2013-14, so that is when I realized that despite all the talent, none of them are professional footballers. The reason being, they are so financially backward that football is just more to have some kind of entertainment in their life. So it's like the fourth, fifth generation they are playing football, and their like father, grandfathers used to also play football. But why never take up the sport as a profession? So after speaking to them, mixing with them, I got to know that at the age of 14, 15, they're forced to pick up labor works. So it's like someone is playing football in the morning, so 7 to 8, he's then immediately reporting to work from 8 to 5 in the evening, and he's just lifting up bricks, lifting cement, sand. I mean, at the age of 14, 15, Moyuk, Debayon, whoever is there, did we ever imagine ourselves to be in that position? We were thinking of 5 different career options. We were actually thinking of whom to date, whom to like Pujote Kakeniye Berote Parvas, like fun stuff. But for them at the age of 14, 15, they're forced to pick up labor work and stuff like that. So that's a very unfortunate situation we noticed, but we saw how talented they were. They were like, I mean, they could put their head somewhere, we would even be afraid of putting our foot. So we saw they were passionate. They had the what do you say? They had the talent. They had everything, but it was obviously raw in nature because even they never received football education. So that is where we came in. 2014, we started. Even we were young. We didn't know much about it. We just had to start. So we started. I used to go there every Sunday, and it was just one time. I mean, one class a week. It was only on a Sunday. 20 guys we started. I mean, little bit of practice, and in couple of years, these players represented their school, which is a local school, in a Calcutta-based school level tournament where another 63 schools took part. So the first time they left their village, they came back winning the tournament.
Oh.
So it was after a year of experiencing a little bit of training, they went out, came back with a huge trophy. So they saw what potential is there if you go to a school.
How wonderful.
So so that was the first achievement. But there was obviously a big downfall
Krishnendu,
after that.
just to intervene a bit,
Sure,
that
sure,
was
sure.
your first taste of success. But what we would like to also know is what started, what made you go to a village in Sonarpur and be with them, know them, and then actually dive into the whole, the organized way of teaching football that you said, that which we lack in our country. So how did you start these things off? I mean, this
Right.
must have been a mammoth task to do, uh, that too at such young stage.
Yeah, I just want to add two things before you start. Sorry,
No
Krishnendu.
problem.
So first of all, Orko has his video turned off because of some technical difficulties, but he's very much with us. And secondly, I think Orko is very much in line with the pattern of the podcast, because the first question we used to ask is what was your football beautiful game moment. So this question is very much in line to that. That is what Orko is asking. So what prompted you to take this?
So obviously, I mean, the thing that you mentioned, Bengal Cop, the Liverpool supporters club over there, that came up in 2011. So that is where I got connected with a lot of football enthusiasts. Obviously, Liverpool supporters mostly, but through that, a lot of Manchester United supporters, Chelsea supporters, we were doing a lot of screenings. So Calcutta started going into that European culture of doing screenings, meet up, football tournaments, stuff like that. It became very like a hyped up concept. Football is taking the European route. So while it was happening, that is where uh, back in the day when I was still in college. So my tuition teacher, so it's a great human being. Like basically, they are from center of the city, but they opened a school in that area, so in Shonarpur. So it was to give education to students who don't go to schools. So it was basically school palano chelera. So they used to go and learn life skills, normal academic education, younger ones to that school. So that is where she invited
So
me
you're
to
talking
go to
about the
that
dropout
place. I spent a
students.
couple of days. Dropout students, not just someone who is older, but even younger guys who did not find it interesting to go to schools because they
School.
were the first generation who is to receive academic education in that area.
Hmm.
Correct.
So that is when I went over there.
Okay.
That is where I saw there's like grounds everywhere. People players are playing. So there's all football. They don't want to study. বলছে আমাদের ইংলিশের নাম বলতে পারবো না, give me the ball, I'll show you how to score a goal. So it was
Oh,
that simple for them. So I saw the enthusiasm over there. So initially the plan was to create a grassroots setup in the city, but then they suggested that it will be difficult for us. It was a very good suggestion, but it will be difficult for the players to spend a lot of money every day to go and train in the city and then come back. So that is where we said, okay, let's
Kishendu,
promote a couple of guys coming
one
to the
more thing
city.
that I'm really sorry to interrupt. That I wanted to ask
No
that
problem.
whatever the academy and the fan club, it does require a lot of money. How you're able to collect this money, how able to raise money, and how the sponsors are coming across in board? Because we do understand that creating an academy and providing such kind of infrastructure to 150 students and 150 footballers at a time, so it does take a lot of effort, and at least money part at least comes in a big way. If you can just please, in a short, like if you can
Right.
elaborate how you're bringing this.
So this is something which is, I mean, after this is all comes from experience of knowing that where people actually invest money. So you might see a lot of invested in Indian Super League. I mean, whatever Indian football is doing, you will see probably 15, 20 sponsors in Indian Super League because that's TV money. You get your brand comes up on TV, it's Quicksilver and all, but it's very difficult to invest in grassroots. So the idea was like there were like two options. Obviously, doing it in a city and doing it in the village. Why we chose village and why it is more sustainable financially over there is because if we did that in a city, no investors and sponsors would anyway come. Nobody invest in grassroots. That is the reason why. I mean, apart from cricket, there is hardly any investment in grassroots sports in India. So if I don't did not have his sponsors and investors, I would have to do it in a city. Whereas students say like he's 8 or 10 years old, who'll come, pay, and do his training. So we would have made money given the coach a salary, something like that. Because But at the end of the day, we could see that if a kid who is like in a city, he is paying to train football, his career option is not to be a footballer. He is going to play football for recreation, to stay fit, to, I mean, something like that. But as a city kid, you will have 10 different career options ahead of football. So even if you do a
No,
grassroots
and just
setup
my
in the
question is
city,
just, I'm sorry to Krishnu, just my one line question, that how you are able to raise funds? Because
no, I
I
think
what
before getting into
I've
that,
gone
for
through
your
some of
viewers
your.
only,
Okay.
now for your viewers only, this is important to know why we don't do it in a city and why we could put up our financial
Okay. Yes,
setup in a
sure.
village area. And yeah, so basically, so that is where, I mean, we would see a city project would fail ultimately, because if I train 50 kids in a city, only one might come out as a footballer. The rest will again turn into engineers and doctors and all, because that's a more lucrative and easier career path than football. In our project, out of 150 students, at least 145 of them are going to be professional footballers if they're talented enough. So this is a guarantee. So all of them, because their alternative career is of a labor slash mason or a delivery boy, something like that. So if they turn out to be professional footballers, they will be financially sustainable. So this is where, again, no sponsor, no investor will ever come in, be it a city project or a village project. So what we have done is basically we have reached out to individual people. So there's a budget, like suppose say 100 rupees is required to run the project for 1 month. Just give you an example. So what we have done, we have reached out to individual people where everyone has a monthly commitment of a particular amount. So it's not a one-time commitment. If someone says, listen, no, I'm going to give you say 50 rupees and never going to look back at you, that's not going to help us. A person has to stay with us for a very long time, even if the amount is small. So there's a particular amount. I don't know if you're comfortable for me to release that amount as an information over there, but it's basically, it's a small amount. So as an individual patron, the person is not too hurt, is not burning his pockets, but collectively, if you have like 10 patrons like that, it's helping the ultimate cause. So
If you
it's
can tell
not
the
no
amount,
sponsor, no
because I
investor,
think
not
it
a
might
problem.
interest people. It might interest people, the
Sure, sure.
viewers who
Okay.
are
So
watching it.
if I'm
You
allowed to
can
do
tell the
that.
amount.
No, you are you in this podcast you are allowed to say anything. Just don't filter anything. Whatever you want to say,
Okay,
speak
okay,
your
sure,
heart
sure.
out.
So basically, it's each patron. So we have portrayed this whole project in a way like there are 150 kids. If someone wants to take care of one child footballer, say a child footballer is like 9 years old, we are going to invest around 10 years time on him before he turns professional. So a patron, when he comes on board, he has a monthly commitment of, if he takes up one child, he's going to give us rupees 500 every month.
Hmm.
So with a long-term vision, until and unless unfortunately the person who's contributing faces a financial trouble or not, as long as that doesn't happen. So it's a monthly commitment of rupees 500 per player. If someone can pick up, say, support 3 child footballers, 2 child footballers, or multiple, it's completely up to the wish of the patron. So this is how we collect. It's basically ওই ছোট ছোট বালুকণার থেকে মরুভূমির সৃষ্টি. It's the same concept. So we have multiple patrons looking after the whole project, and financially we are, I mean, I'm proud to actually say that we are sustainable in a way that even during the first wave of COVID or the second wave of COVID, we could make arrangements when the whole world, I mean, sports world was shut. We were probably the only entity that continued training. So we shifted our thing from our main ground, so that obviously there was COVID scare and all, but we shifted to a very remote location where we could do classes separately, increase the number of days and everything, so that none of our students miss out on training. Because if they sit down, weight gain থেকে শুরু করে fitness problems might come up. As footballers, you don't want to go through that. So we made sure all our players, be it a 6-year-old kid or a 19-year-old boy, all of them continue to get training. So we are financially dependent on individual people to come forward, and with a basic support of rupees 500 every month, obviously with a long-term vision.
Okay, just to take that, I just want to ask you about that. One of the important factors of a development of a footballer or a child is obviously related to the treatments and the injuries and the sports perspective of it, at a doctor's help, the medicinal help that we are talking about, the treatments. So what are you making arrangement about that? Because I think that even even if you have money, bringing professional doctors, treatment, giving them the adequate treatments, and even that takes a lot of effort, I guess so.
And also,
So
I
basically,
have one more question in addition to that.
sure.
Just like he spoke
Hmm.
about the doctors, nurses, which are very important amenities that you need to provide. Also, the game is continuously changing. If you want to see, the game is changing. So the game styles are changing, the formations are changing, the scope of the game is also changing. Suddenly, for the past 6-7 years, there is something called as ISL, which has come into being, and that has created new stars in India whom they can follow. So how so at that very basic age do you concentrate on all these things, or this comes at a very later stage? So you can answer Devan's question first, then you can come
Right,
to
right.
mine.
So going with Devan's question first. So since we are still a growing organization, our first priority was have our infrastructure set. So now we have got 4 centers. I mean, there are 3 centers which looks at very younger kids, and there is one 11-a-side center which looks at around 14, 15 and above age category kids. So our infrastructure investment came there first, but in terms of medical and even community help and all, we were very lucky that even in our patrons list, I mean, the group of people who come us and financially support, there are a few people who actually give money, contribute money, but they contribute themselves also as a part of the project. That we have good doctors. In fact, there is NRS, which has treated a few of our students. There are doctors who come there. Dr. Shomodev, Dr. Ritika, like Shomodev is associated. Army Hospitals. Dr. Ritika is associated with in NRS. So they come there as specialists, orthopedicians, and then there's general physicians. So they come there, they do anywhere anybody's injured or suffering from something, there are doctors that go. So we call them, this is happening, medicines everything they prescribe. As long as the student can take up the medicine at their own cost, that's fine. If not, we come and help them. So all these are part of the thing. So it's all a voluntary work, but there are people who are good, with full of good heart, and they come forward. Even after giving money, they come with themselves and support this program. So we do have a good amount of people who are there to, to take us forward. So not just with finance, obviously it's a very important thing, but obviously with other deeds also, which helps us in the long run.
Sure.
So that's Devan, we're okay with that?
Okay, and now please answer Mohish.
Moyo, can you just repeat your question?
I just want to make it more specific. For example, there are new terms coming into football. For example, let me give you a very basic term that has popped up in the last 4-5 years. But that is a very important part in football now. That is called Gegen pressing, something like that. So, for example, that is now one of the basic things of football. Both if you see ISL also, there are teams who are Antonio Habas used to play. Used to use that a lot. So we see in Indian football also that is happening, but that is something I feel very complex to understand. This is just an example. There are many more terms apart from that, but which are integral part of football. So how do you? Is this at the basic stage? Is this the very basic training which is given, or they are prepared for any situation, and at least a slightest of idea is imparted to them?
Right. So the thing that we are doing over there is basically we keep introducing them to different types of football. So in fact, if you go over there, there's hardly a TV in everyone's house, so their access to watch good games is very limited. But what we have done, we have brought in a projector screen, we have put up cable TV, we have put up internet over there, so that they keep watching matches. So there's good matches. I mean, if you're talking about matches with a lot of philosophy in it, we can look at Manchester City, Chelsea, Liverpool, and there is Bayern Munich. So there are matches which they have to continuously see. So this is where we bring in an ideology where their target is not of a Ronaldo video or a Messi video, but to see how a team is playing.
Wow.
So we have introduced like a wing play situation for Liverpool, but continuously keep passing, keep possession, smart play. So basically you play with your mind, you don't play with your foot. Foot is basically machine which does the work for you. So this is where we bring in those ideologies and we replicate those things in our game style in training. Not from like till class till the age of 10, a student has to have fun, then only he'll get interest towards football. I mean, I like chocolate, but if anybody shoves down chocolate into my throat, I won't like it. So at a young age, it's all about loving the game, having fun with it. But as they start understanding, okay, football is a serious business for me, till like at the age of 11, 12, then we bring in that ideology and try to replicate that in a game style. So if you look
True.
back 20 years, I mean, Bengali football, after defender would like shoot a ball to a striker would receive it, goal. There was no style of play. In our case, if you go and visit our place and people who are going to visit that place, they'll see that a player is punished if the ball is unnecessarily raised above the knee length. So it's continuously keep it low, keep it passing. So and there are prizes, like suppose there's a match happening, the training match happening. We say that a goal is a goal, that's okay. But if you make 20 passes consecutively, one goal is added to your bonus. So like that,
Oh.
we give them lucrative offers of feeling enjoying the game also. So if you see 20 passes leading to a goal or actually completing 20 passes, that gives them a mental boost. So it's like keep the ball ground, keep your head low, and just enjoy the game. So there are different ideologies we take part. In fact, whatever we do, analytics and everything that you see in ISL and big leagues right now, we try to implement as much as it happens in our grassroots level, so that if you learn at the very basic, you don't have to worry about later stages.
True.
So we are going to keep improving, but this is how it is right now.
So you are in the process of not only creating players but also characters. So what I can see.
Absolutely. Grooming is from hairstyle to nail styles, everything is managed by us.
Absolutely. That's so nice.
We do manage hairstyles nowadays.
No, basically you're not allowed to cut your hair in a fancy way if you have not achieved anything in life.
Okay.
So there are players who come here with a lot of hairstyles. He's told to sit out. So that's a punishment everybody takes up in a okay. The brother is.
And
the
I
coach
guess
is
I guess
punishing me,
I
and
guess I
he-
know which international player you are referring to.
No, not just that. But basically, if you're looking at say the under 17 World Cup that happened, I think an Indian player had a very big hairstyle, written Ma or everything. So those are like he hasn't achieved anything in life as of now. I mean, prove something, then do whatever you want to do with your body.
True.
So your focus should be in football. With achievements, you can focus on your body. So that is what we try to bring in our place also. Head down, be humble, achieve, then do whatever you want to do.
We can do to bring in a context that you talked about Bengali football. So at
Right.
this moment, the two biggest institutions of Indian football, Mohun Bagan and East Bengal, we know the state they are in, and also Bengal has been the preeminent state as per Indian football goes. But presently, we can see other states, at least other places to grow, and Bengal to be lacking in a much bigger way. Especially we are talking about the footballing institutions like Mohun Bagan, East Bengal. They are not able to bring up those professionalism we are talking about. I just want to ask you that whether there is a steady depletion in the number of quality players or the number of coaches, the quality coaches that we lack. So, what are you thinking about it? What is your take?
So Bengal football, I mean, it's a very risky thing to comment right now because I am still developing a project, and but
No, I'm
what
just
is there,
asking your
it's there.
personal take
So
because
no, I understand. No, I understand. Yeah. So I think there's a lot of things that are going on in Bengal football, which need not to happen so much. I mean, it's not required. I mean, there's a lot of personal interest. There's a lot of Amar, Tomar, Amar, and that is what goes on. And football takes a backseat over there. So if you go to Goa or if you go to the Northeast area, it's all about enjoying the game. And there's less. I mean, the word is politics. There's less of that in those areas. Maybe, of course, it's everywhere. But if you look at Mohun Bagan and East Bengal and all the big clubs, I mean, name any club, not just Mohun Bagan, East Bengal, all the big clubs, they don't create, they just purchase players. Whatever creation happens is like, tum apna samajh lo, you go and play wherever. If you come and give a trial in our club, we'll pick you up. So we are just an university picking up students who have come out through joint entrance exams, but we are not teaching basic maths to kids. So
you're just saying that there is
even
very
with that
steady
problem,
decline. Okay, I'm just saying that you're just saying
Bengal
that there's a
football is
steady
like
decline in the number of players or the coaches. You're saying That is also one of the part I'm asking, that what I have felt, that there
Coaches,
might be a
coaches
scarcity in
is
the
there.
scarcity in the number.
So this is about Bengal
Coaches are
football
there.
or overall you're asking?
Now I'm talking of Bengal football.
Bengal football, it's not a happy place to work. Like, I mean, we say that Bengal is not a happy place to work in general. You go to Bangalore, you have a fantastic culture. It's probably that. I mean, our football was our pride, but it's probably brought in the same atmosphere in the football world also, where there's too much of not happy things happening compared to happy things. I mean, there's too much of something that if you go into a football world in Bengal, you say, like, okay, there's no football here. I have to deal with this problem, that problem. I have to appease this person. So there's a lot of things that goes on. And if there's time, maybe we can go into football. So priorities have changed in Bengal. So it's probably, I don't know what's the solution. So I mean, I don't want to get into administrative stuff. So they do what they want to do. I'll have to do what I want to do. You have to do what you have to do.
So Krishnendu, as far as I've gathered till now, that you were a sports graduate who wanted to get his hands dirty on the field and walk down that path. So there are struggles, yes, and there are beauties of it, beauties of interacting with the masses and getting to know them and introducing a kind of football that would give them a better life. So during this journey and the project you are on, what milestones have you achieved that you feel? I know you are a person who likes to get his head down and work, but what are the milestones that you achieved and your bigger vision with a timeline, if you could just explain?
Well, Orko, of course, like I've said previously, that this came from a bit of rage about what's like, there's so much of opportunity. I mean, when you are grounded, if you're on on the floor, the best part of that is you can only go up. So with that kind of opportunity I've seen in my sports industry, there are people with power, money, and everything. I mean, they look right. They've got friends and relationships that can just give them money like that. So using of that money you can't have helipad on top of a building if you don't have staircase in that building. So people have to go on top of that building to get onto that helipad. So you need to have an elevator, an escalator, or a simple staircase. So it's just about people are going into a Shah Rukh Khan mode, like the entire Bollywood is funded by Shah Rukh Khan or Salman Khan movie, but it's not good for your sustainability. I mean, you have to think about how to start from the basic, lay a very good foundation. So when I saw that nobody's investing in the foundation, that is what made me angry, and that is where everything came out. I mean, that is where I could just, okay, I'll be pursuing a professional career in sports, but I also need to do my bit so that at the end of say 10 years, I'll have something to, something strong to say that, okay, this is there. So it's not just for me, it's for the entire sports community in India, players, coaches, managers, everybody. Now we are just, in current scenario, we're just landing on a helipad because someone has taken us, like thrown us on top of the helipad. But if you're asked to take a stairs, we'll not find any stairs to that. So since it's there, so that is where this project started, the inception of that happened. If I talk about milestones, of course, there are bits and pieces of things, but those are like something that it's no point shouting about that. We want to keep our heads down and keep working. But I think the most important milestone is that back in 2015-16, when we initially started this project, a mother used to come to our ground and take his son out while he was doing training to tell him, "Khele laab nahi, join your father at the fields." So this was back in 2015-16. Now a mother or a father comes to a ground, hands over her son or his son to us and says, "Amar chhele daitto tomader upor." So in the last 5-6 years, this is what you have changed. So if I talk about milestones in the
Brilliant.
ground, whatever.
Just
So,
brilliant.
yeah.
Brilliant.
So yes, obviously, from a financial perspective, football is, you do anundu and have fun, but to waste time in the ground instead of working, which you can get, say, add another 100 rupees to your father's kitty every day, that's a big deal for them. So for them to actually rely on us, because now they see, okay, I don't want my son to be a Mason. I want my son to play for Mumbai City FC. Just give an example. So because they know that at a
You're making people dream. That's the beauty of it.
the idea of is empowering them instead of helping them once in a while. It's
Exactly,
like,
exactly.
True.
I'll give you a bat, you have to work hard to be the Sachin Tendulkar. So that's the most yeah.
True.
So
And
empowering
Sustainable
them,
empowerment.
and
Exactly,
before
yeah.
we go to Debayan's favorite topic, that is Liverpool, I just want to tell you that all of us some way or the other want to see the newspaper headline stating India announces 23 member squad for World Cup, but very few are the ones who actually step into the mud, and just as Orko said, decided to test the dust and just make sure the steps are proper, the way is proper, because the dream is big, but very few actually contributes to incorporating the dream. So kudos from the entire team of FCAST to the work you have been doing.
Krishnendu.
And if you think us eligible for anything, please feel free. We are always there with such kind of projects. Now, Debayan, you can move
Now
ahead
his
with.
vision, Krishnendu's vision, we would all like to know
Uh,
his
Yes.
next plan.
Vision should be something that we
True.
So basically,
like. How many centers you want to like? I just want to put it in a bit context to you that whether you want to replicate this system to some other or some other places all over the country or in Bengal, how you're thinking about it.
And currently, how many players are part of it?
How many players are part of it? Do you really want to bring it, talk to the authorities or the government agencies to bring it into the curriculum? Because what I feel that you were always talking about is not part of the curriculum at all. So it should be built from the start, from the very inception. So whether if you have any plans to talk to the authorities or bring it into the curriculum, or then how you want to replicate the centers. So this is we want to know.
So India by far remains a country which is based on agriculture, or in an urban area mostly into IT sector jobs or shortcut sector, whatever. But sports doesn't feature in any of, even in rural and urban sectors. So as of now, uh, the idea is not to go to government officials for help, but to do it in our way in terms of increasing the number of centers and all. That's part of the plan. So so I'll just tell you what is there and what we are planning to bring in. Right now in Shonarpur, we have got 4 centers. So it's a vast area. So 3 of my centers are looking after kids who are under 12. So that number is close to say 80 to 90 players. So what we are looking at in the year 2025-26, when there are around 30-40 players who are going to turn 15, 16, 17 in like 4-5 years. That is where we will see our first batch of ready players. Through 7 years of training, they are going to be the first batch who's going to be the identity of School of Football Excellence. And then the rest of them will follow. So the idea is not to keep on increasing the number of centers as of now, because obviously financially you have to focus on what we have. So it's basically cutting your cloth according to your cloth. So as we progress, as our identity becomes bigger, financially we are going to get more help hopefully, and then we are going to invest in firstly football oriented districts in West Bengal. So we have identified Purulia. In fact, next financial year we are going to probably open up something in Purulia and Bardhaman, maybe something in Shiliguri district. There's Mednipur in the right. So we go district wise, which is like football oriented. If I'm talking about something 10 years later, maybe we go to a particular area where it's already football oriented. People love football, people play football, but they need, and we go into village areas mostly as of now. So because that is where, if you're looking at investing in a kid at the age of 6 in football, that kid knows that if I don't turn out to be a footballer, which I love, it's not because I'm dragging him out of his home to play football. He loves football. If I don't play it seriously, I won't have a job which can be where I can be able to sustain my family in the long run. I'll have problems. So football, it gives a good amount of professional setup for a player who's professional right now, even if in the Indian Super League scenario. So we go in our Shonarpur area first. Next year, maybe one other district. Maybe in 2 years, 3-4 other districts. We cover West Bengal. Not every district, because if you go to say a Murshidabad. We might not have football enthusiasts over there. We have to create a football culture, and that's a huge process because we are not from Murshidabad. So we take those places where they have the talent, the passion, and the enthusiasm to play the game, to play ball, and that is we are going to take it for one step at a time.
So nice to hear this vision. This is actually a long-term vision which will benefit not only the state but also the country, considering the fact majority of players
So
comes from this state.
just to just pops up another question that how much, I mean, how much economically viable for an individual living in a rural area would that be to be you know, a professional footballer? I mean, what would the income range be so that to, I mean, something that they should have as a goal, right?
Right, right. So
Any
if you're
incentive?
looking at the
Always talking about
Indians,
any incentive if you're providing.
no, no, I think if he turns professional, how much he earns annually or something, that's the
Okay,
idea.
okay.
So, so just
Exactly.
giving a perspective of, so suppose look at the Indian national team. There are 20 players. Just assume there are 20 players who are very good, the best in 20 Indian players. So they have received almost no football education till the age of 15. Once they turn 15, they have been taken up by say Reliance Foundation or like a Tata Football Academy. So the formal education is football is only for 3 years. So now what has happened? It's like 3 years of education, and I'm an Indian footballer. I'm an Indian Super League footballer. So the amount they earn right now is close to, I mean, when they start their career in ISL, it's close to around 20-25 lakhs annually. An average Indian player who has played there for 3-4 years, good enough, maybe close to 50-60 lakhs, 70-80, a little bit better. I think the highest paid Indian player is close to 1.5 crore or something. So all these are there. So it's assuming it's around average 60-70 lakhs a year. So for a village kid from Shonarpur or any other poor in India to start earning that much of amount,
That's a bigger dream, but what if, what happens to those who doesn't reach that level? I mean, people who stay in levels of Calcutta Football League or even below.
okay, so this is obviously the aim is to obviously get them to the highest level. So that is where, I mean, just
Eh,
imagine a kid who's like getting football training from the age of 7 to 15. So that's 8 years of training, and then appearing for a trial at the age of 15 with another kid who's merely talented and appearing for the same trial. So his football education and understanding will be much higher than this player, even if he's like a very fast runner. Suppose this is like a player.
Accepted. Chances are better. That's accepted. But even then, that reaching to the top 20 won't be in everyone's destiny. It
No,
will be
of course
like
not. I mean,
they
I'm looking
they
at.
would be in ISL, so that has a pack of, let's say, 600 to 800 players.
Right, right.
So what after that?
So you're talking about players who do not make it to the top level, right?
Yeah, like in Calcutta Football League, who are stuck in Calcutta Football League, or let's say in the state, they're playing for the state.
Right. So obviously there's something that we have already started doing is basically there's two centers of ours where training is done by senior players, not the coach, but the coach makes the curriculum. So the player actually finds an alternative career, if not as a top footballer, but as a coach also. So he gets into coaching. There's referee, there's coaching. Apart from that, we are still a little bit behind in giving them an alternative career other than sports because we haven't gotten into that. But hopefully, I mean, be it life skills or any other skills, we want to make sure that they actually go to school, complete their education while pursuing sports. But I mean, those who cannot make it in the top level, we will be there with them, helping out them for their say coaching licensing, like a shuru kore, maybe referring license, so that they stay in the game. But financially speaking, Calcutta Football League or West Bengal, I mean Santosh Trophy teams and all, they do not get paid enough to. I mean, there's hardly a difference between you taking up a normal job and you taking up Calcutta Football League as a profession. So we have the difference. It's basic reality. So if you're not good enough, you have to think about if you still want to be in the game, you might have to think about other career alternatives where we also help them.
But do you believe in near future, let's say in next 5-10 years, will there be enough demand for such players? I mean, there is a certain shine about Calcutta Football League right now, which wasn't there 10 years back. So it will shine brighter in next 10 years and they will probably have an income. Is that what you believe?
I'm not too sure about that because it's a very fluctuating concept. I mean, it's like cave football with sponsors. So I don't know how much it's going to sustain for the next 10 years, whether it's just a momentary thing that is happening, whether we'll have to wait and watch. I mean, if not for Calcutta football, so I am building a setup for coaches all around the country. See, I League, Second Division, Main I League, ISL, Youth League, to come to my academy in the next 5-6 months, pick up players from here. So it's not restricted to just Calcutta football, but I am actually creating player. In fact, two of my players are almost selected for a Bangalore-based academy. So they're going to give trials once again in March for a residential academy. So that's there. So I am focused mostly on
That's an achievement, Krishnendu. That's an
that's
achievement.
something that
Well done.
once you get to see them on TV, that's an achievement that will speak for itself. And me speaking about it here
Brilliant.
is not
And we
much.
can all agree that we need good coaches. If you want to build a system, there's always there's room for good coaches around and professional coaches.
Yes,
True.
coach
Exactly,
education
Devendra.
is very important. I mean, if your teacher is like আজকে এটা হচ্ছে সেটা পড়াবো, I mean, you have needs to have a curriculum ready, you need to have a syllabus ready, achievements, exams, everything, just like an academic thing that happens in India. If you can just replicate the same model in sports,
True.
I think we'll be in for a good coaching scenario. I think we lack that department till now. People do their licensing quite easily, but
We
it's
used
still
to have actually in the modern football had a lot of good coaches earlier.
Yeah.
That's why at that time there was so many
And
good
also,
footballers coming.
they had a philosophy. Amal Datta had a terrific football
Yes.
philosophy. PK Banerjee had an excellent footballing philosophy. But one thing I really have a problem. I think India needs to replace the word coach with manager. I think that sounds better. That sounds much more with a personality and
Professional.
and probably with a philosophy.
And if you're talking about a manager, how far we go beyond the next one we talk about, right? So I really want to know, Krishnendu, that at this moment, as we all can like gather that you're a Liverpool supporter, I'm a Liverpool supporter, but we have Manchurians as well. So
And AC Milan as well. Orko is
and
an
AC Milan as
fan.
well. Orko is a AC Milan
all
fan. So we
reds,
have
all red.
so all reds. We all are reds. We don't like blue. We don't like. We hate blue, especially the noisy ones. So
all blues are noisy,
want to ask-
some way or the other.
blues, yes, blues are very noisy. So I really wanted to know that the story behind this. We want to come back to the fun part, that your fan club, and I think everybody is looking forward to it. I think all of us want to have a screening with your fan club one day, so that we are able to watch a good match where Manchester United versus Liverpool.
Just
and
don't
Liverpool
disclose
scoring
my
a-
just don't disclose my identity.
Okay.
Yeah, but
No, I'm
yeah,
not
we
disclosing.
really
We
we really want to know the story of the fans club. How did it start and how did it take
yes.
took a shape?
Okay, so personally, a Liverpool fan from 2004, the Gerrard shot against Olympiacos, that was mesmerizing for me. So 6 years I used to text any, like there was Orkut back in the day.
Yeah.
So like
Yes.
friend list at Koreni, it's like, I mean, getting a Liverpool fan, oh my God, that's the best part of my day, talking to a Liverpool fan. So for those 5-6 years of the first few years of internet was that. Then we get to hear about how Delhi and Mumbai has gathered supporters, called themselves a Delhi Corp or the Mumbai Supporters Club, and how they have brought everyone under the same banner. So that is where even I wanted to, like, let's do it. So like, I'm a very enthusiastic guy about everything that I like. So this is where I started calling people, you know what, let's watch a match together. I mean, we'll start it like that. So back in 2011, so this match was against Arsenal, 20th of August 2011. So before that, so this is where Facebook also started slowly. I mean, not too much. Facebook was just getting into our lives. Orkut mostly there, but Facebook. So I spoke to a few friends, say around like 14 people, and everyone said, "Theek hai, Ashbo, let's get it. Where you're having it, we'll do it." So I live in South Calcutta. So near my place, looked for a place and we got it. It's like a whole, I mean, say it's like an auditorium, but in the worst part of the auditorium, we got a space. So it's like, so that is where we got a place, and I had carpets ready. I even rented a TV, 21 inches screen ready. So it's like বাড়িতে বসে খেলা দেখার মতো. It's nothing big. but I saw people coming there. One very good thing happened that morning. Suddenly someone knocked on my door and said like, "Tumra aajke screening korcho na?" And yeah, so you're going to be a part of the screening? Well, yeah, I'll be there. Tell me what help do you need? So I told him like we'll have to get tiffins, I mean snacks ready for people who are coming in. So all that has to be met. So we carved out a thermocall saying live screening and all those stuff was ready. So I like, wow, what an enthusiastic guy. I never knew this guy before. He got to know the address to our Facebook promotion and all. So when the match started, Liverpool Arsenal match started, I saw his wallet lying in front of him and it had an Arsenal emblem. So I like, what? You're an Arsenal supporter? বলছে হ্যাঁ তুমি জানতে না? I like, dude, you're working with me for a Liverpool screening from a Liverpool supporters club end. Like rest of them are Liverpool supporters. How would I understand you're an Arsenal supporter? Well, no, I got to hear about you guys doing a screening. Arsenal doesn't have it, so I thought of being a part of this. So that guy, I mean, we did not know that he was an Arsenal supporter throughout the day, even if you're walking together. I mean, he was carving, live screening Liverpool fan club, screening something like that. How will I understand?
We
So
heard
that
about
is
gate
where
crashing. We heard about
wanted the answer.
we
Wanted to hear that.
we heard the word gate crashing. This is club crashing.
this is like no, this is an operations manager who's from a different club. So this is
It
what
was biggest
happened.
spy job you can
So-
find out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like spine. I told him like, "Tumi Tatri, put the wallet back to your pocket, otherwise you're going to get beaten up." Nothing like that. I mean, we built such a good relationship with all of them from the very first screening 2011. Nehoy Chilo. This guy is still a patron of the academy. I mean, he is there with us. He's an Arsenal supporter. His name is Shomojit. I mean, we accidentally met, but we have been family since then. So the club has grown. The supporters
But
club has grown.
is he still a Arsenal supporter or now he supports Liverpool?
Oh, he's a dedicated Arsenal supporter. He's a
Okay.
very fine business guy living in Finland. He's doing
Oh,
a lot of good stuff in his
good
life.
to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now
So
coming
that is how Bengal
yeah.
Cup came up.
Absolutely. So what a lovely story. So coming on to the last part, I think as you told your story, I think a lot of people would now should take keen interest. If not, I would appeal on behalf of FCast to come out and help this kind of endeavors. But everybody wants to hear it from the horse's mouth. So why just you go ahead and just do the appeal?
So basically, you heard what I've been talking about. Why building a foundation of Indian football is more important than celebrating goals of a Sunil Chetri or the Bachung Bhutias. So if you don't do that, there won't be any Sunil Chetri or Bachung Bhutias again. So our idea is to focus on that. So and if you have seen, I'm a Liverpool supporter, but this has got nothing to do with the Liverpool or Manchester United. This is hardcore Indian football. This is about making Indian football great, and while doing so, changing lives of those in need. So it's there's no materialistic return that you get back if you join this project as a patron. So as a patron, it's about giving 500 rupees every month with a long-term vision, obviously. So it's about doing your bit. Every bit is important, and one day, hopefully, we are going to see Indian football not occasionally popping up, but making a mark in international football, playing at the World Cup, and having a chance at everything for success.
And probably making that headline, India announces 23-member squad for the FIFA World Cup. We all dream for that day. So having said that,
course.
I think we had an excellent episode. Thank you so much, Krishnendu, for joining us and sharing your insights.
Thank you so much, guys.
It was very insightful and it
A
was very inspiring.
big congratulations to you and big heartfelt. Like it was wonderful to hear from you, Krishan.
Absolutely. Orko, would you like to end it?
Yeah, brilliant conversation, Krishnendu, and all the best for your project, and wish to see you soon.
Thank you. Please do come and visit the place.
Absolutely. We would love
Surely,
to.
surely,
Whenever I am in the
Boot me
city,
as
I'll
the- we have to
definitely.
go and play.
Sure. Absolutely. And so thank you so much to all our footizens who are watching us. Do stay at your home, stay safe, wear mask, use sanitizer, and do take very good care of yourself. Thank you so much from the entire team
Thank
of
you.
FCast. Thank you so much, Krishnendu.